So I'm Josh. I've got a background in classical music. My instrument is the cello, and I studied music performance for about 5 years of my life at university. But this year, I decided to totally change my career and become a UX designer. So a bit more about my music career. I studied a Bachelor of Music in Melbourne and a Master's of Music overseas in Chicago. Came back to Melbourne, and then I've been freelancing in the music industry. And through my music journey, I got to meet a lot of amazing people. I got to travel to lots of different countries around the world. And but one thing that I always liked to think about was the kind of idea that music is the language of the world. And no matter what country I was in, even if I could or couldn't speak the language there, everyone would have this collective emotional reaction to the music. And I think that's pretty amazing for music to be this universal language. And that has actually followed me into my design career, because fundamentally design is about communicating meaning and information. So as designers, we have to make that visual language as accessible as possible. So another thing as a musician I like to do was, after a concert, actually go out into the audience and ask them about their experience watching the concert. I found that usually people would love the music, but they might give me some feedback about the ticket booking process or the information on the website, even how easy it was to park there on the day. So I think that idea to understand how users experience a product has been ingrained in me for a while now. When lockdown hit Melbourne, I saw the music industry take a big hit alongside many other industries, as we know. I lost a lot of music work that I was involved in, but I'd been researching into human-centered design and what that might look like as a career for me. So I took this chance in lockdown to say, hey, I've been thinking about trying this design thing. Maybe now is the perfect time. I actually took a really cautious approach because I came from a completely non-design background. I'd always liked technology and art, but I haven't given myself a real chance to explore those interests very far. I started off with a part-time course at Academy XI. So this was the User Experience Design Elevate course. So I got to study UX design just 2 nights a week. And this fit in really well with the part-time work I was doing and allowed me to spend 2 nights a week learning and finding out what this industry was all about. It was a super exciting time. I got to learn about conducting user research. I designed my first mobile app using UX and UI principles and ran some testing sessions. I was actually very studious during this time, took a lot of notes on the process, and that was really fundamental to get my skills up and build some confidence in what I was about to be doing. The next step in my journey was actually to quit my day job at the time and take on the full-time UX Transform course with Academy XI. So this is a full-time course, 10 weeks, basically studying from 9 to 5 every day. This was a remote course, and before I started, I was feeling quite worried about doing an online course. I'd never studied online before, and I'm someone who likes to chat with my classmates after class, get to know people and work together and study and whatnot. So I was quite apprehensive about it, but I was able to have a really nice phone call with Frank from Melbourne XI, and he really put my mind at ease and was able to explain how the course would work being remote. I started the course and I was really happy to find that I loved the remote learning style. I was still able to connect with my classmates. There was lots of different activities with group work and solo work coming together and activities dispersed throughout the weeks. And I'm still in conversation with a lot of classmates, and we're supporting each other through our journeys in the design industry. I really feel a part of the XI community, and I've been in touch with people. I've been back as a mentor for a recent UX course. I've been invited to speak at the alumni panel next week. And even as I'm networking online, I just see Academy XI pop up and a lot of people who I'd love to talk to. So I feel like I've joined this amazing community that exists physically as well as online. So being a UX designer and being in the human-centered design world has definitely changed the way I think about work. I think in general, it's really easy to fall into the trap of relying on assumptions and thinking we know what people want. But the reality is that we don't really know, and what we think is right for us personally may not be true for users. So I think learning about deeply understanding the user through research has really shifted my perspective on the importance of research and testing. Something else that has worked really well for me as a UX designer is being really transparent about the user research with people I'm working with. So at Academy XI, I learned about the power of creating a good user persona. If I can personify that research and be able to say, hey, this persona, Jane, is with us in the room. What would Jane think about the product? It really pulls us away from our personal biases in a really powerful way. And on another side of things, a lot of things about being a musician have helped me as a designer. I think that studying music taught me how to be a really hard worker and to obsess over small details in my work, but also to keep an eye on the final product. Being able to go deep down into a specific design screen, like the screen of a mobile app, is kind of similar to me focusing on a particular musical phrase and really breaking that down. But then being able to step back and have the vision of the whole piece of music, or in design, to see the whole user flow or the journey map, is a skill that I've been able to apply. My advice for someone making a career change is do your research at the start. So do a lot of reading. I did a couple of free online courses just to get a feel for the industry I was looking into. I remember even going onto YouTube and searching day in the life of a designer just to get a kind of a feel for what it's really like. My number 2 tip would be just talk to as many people as you can. Sit down with them, ask them what their work is like, what their career has been like, and really dig into those insights that they've experienced in the industry. If you're concerned about signing up for a course, remember it's not just the words on the screen sitting in front of you. There are people behind that website that are just waiting to help you. I remember using the Academy XI live chat to, chat with someone about some of the concerns I had. And I mentioned before, I had that phone call. So Academy XI really made me feel welcome, and I already started feeling part of the family before I started the classes. It was a really good experience. And if you do decide to use study to help you with your career change, I would say be fully prepared to be focused on your course. Something that was said to my class in the early days of the course was, you get out what you put in. And that was so true. If you put in 100% from day one, stay super on top of things, you'll have a whole new set of skills and experiences by the end of the course and feel ready to dive into a new industry.